much time on your hands.
My baby girl tripping, she don't for me support. She leave the house, won't hit my line like she ain't got a report. I'm chasing the money, stacking the money, rapping in the sport. I don't know if she realize we standing in divorce court. We
When you have that much time on your hands.
This was the last resort. Why are you running? Why are you running? You owe me money. You have to give me back my money. Which money? I owe you which money? Now let me tell you something, Mr. Man.
Why are you gay?
AOL's DeeKnow, here we are with another video. Let's go!
Heyo, what's good? It's DeeKnow, and we're back with another video full of crazy clips from all over the world. I hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for locking in every time I post one of these videos up. If you're new around here, what we like to do is take a look at the craziest videos we can find from all over the internet and then decide if they're whack or if they were good. So if that sounds fun to you, stick around and let's hop right into it.
You are not going to want to miss this video. So, well, I think I found Mars, and it's not 140 million miles away in a space vacuum. Well, for starts, this is what they say Mars' surface looks like. So I decided to search Devon Island in my search engine, and like, the surface is kind of the same. And you're not going to believe this is one of the first pictures that popped up. So I decided to pull up Google Earth and check out this place called Devon Island, and you're not gonna believe what I found. So you could do this yourself. Just go to Google Earth, Devon Island. Just gonna pull this up. Hit Street View. Alright. Quite a few buildings there. Alright. Scoping it out. That looks like a NASA symbol right there. That four-wheeler. Huh. Weird. Whoa! NASA? What in the... Alright. Mars 1. Moon 1. What in the... Well, guys, Mars is not very far. Wow. Like, seriously, guys. Like, all these rocks are in the same place. That's a little weird if you ask me, but what do y'all think about this? Y'all let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, follow me, and share this with someone. And like always, God bless.
Yeah, nah, that is a little bit weird, ain't it? I'm gonna have to go fact check that, because that's a little bit crazy right there. Said that it's in Canada.
Why does not America look like Dubai and Germany? And why doesn't America look like Russia and Persia? And where the is the money going? There should be grapes, turnips, vegetables, everything on the streets every day for the homeless to eat. You're making us pay for water, you son of a... You're making us pay for grapes, apples, things that God gave us for free. Ha! Ha! Da, 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 bullshit. You will burn in hell when I'm through with you.
That look on his face is wild.
This place exists. It's not Dune, it's Teotihuacan, and it's in Mexico. And there are things about it that are hiding in plain sight that need to be addressed. Like everything else here, it was fucking buried, and then when they excavated it, they found some remnants of paint on the building, so allegedly that's what it's supposed to have looked like. There's a main strip, a main road that connects the Pyramid of the Moon, the Pyramid of the Sun, and then the Pyramid of the Feathered Serpent. It's called the Avenue of the Dead. It looks just like the Vatican, and the pyramids may be aligned to Orion. I'm not fully sold on that one, though. What's weird is this guy, the Pyramid of the Sun. Its height is the average distance of the Earth from the Sun in meters scaled by a factor of 9. Around the world, there's another celestial link, the Kala Chakra, that's used in Hinduism and Buddhism. Top of the mandala shows the fixed signs of the zodiac. The corners mark the zodiac signs, indicating the age in which consciousness incarnates here for experience. These two cultures are about as far away from each other as you can get, yet they are somehow linked by resonant geometry that we see in their art and architecture. Something Walter Russell was very fascinated with. Russell was a Western mystic that was translating esoteric science into modern science through sympathetic vibratory physics. It's super easy. It's how to represent magnetic fields through geometry, where the big square is a magnetic field. The inverse of the square is in red. Where it intersects with the original square is where the new square gets drawn. When you repeat this, it's sort of a fractal algorithm that shows you where the magnetic field lines will be concentrated at. That geometry is the same geometry as Teotihuacan from the top down. This is what it looks like in 3D. You may think that's a coincidence until you see these tunnels. They were discovered under the pyramids, and they were filled with large amounts of mercury. Mercury used to be used to convert AC signal to DC signal, like this arc rectifier used in elevators. So we have a pyramid encoded with celestial geometry, the geometry of consciousness, magnetic geometry, and materials that are used in modern electrical engineering. And here we are again at an ancient monument that reeks of some sort of component, which is exactly what I explore in Cryptex. This is actually just 4 pages of the book that I just made into a video.
If you don't know, the Army's getting new weapons. The big takeaway from it is they shoot bigger bullets, meaning they have more kinetic energy on impact and they have a longer effective range. But that doesn't really do a whole lot for you unless you can actually hit the target. And that's why Uncle Sam is replacing every close combat optic and ACOG with a new fire control system. And these things cost $10,800 a piece. And the things they're capable of doing is absolutely... Not allowed to say that word in the first 30 seconds. It's okay, we can play this game. These new scopes are banging legumes. Wait for it. Wait for it. 30 seconds. I'm trying to tell you this new scope is fucking nuts. Alright, let me break this down for you. That bottom piece is a 1 to 6x variable zoom scope. That top piece, however, is basically fucking Hogwarts. That's where all the magic happens. Basically, it's a ballistic calculator and rangefinder all wrapped up into one. So basically, all you have to do is put the crosshairs on whatever you want to reach out and touch, push a button on the scope, and it's going to automatically find the range between you and the target, and then it's going to account for bullet drop, temperature outside, barometric pressure, and windage, and then automatically adjust the crosshairs for you. This scope literally does everything except set up the GoFundMe page for that motherfucker's funeral. And bear in mind, it's not just going to be the designated marksman that has one of these. Every American grunt on the battlefield is going to have fucking Skynet as a spotter now. Now, to be fair to the snipers, that's not everything a sniper does. It's going to be close enough most of the time. Look, it's never a war crime the first time, but I'm pretty sure Geneva isn't going to be happy that we're about to start running an aimbot. The effective range that the average soldier can hit a target with this thing is going to be 900 yards. You guys hear that? Sounded like buttholes puckering and bad guys furiously typing into Google, how far is 900 yards? And that's not even all it does. It can also directly interface with your night vision goggles and the fire control systems of your teammates, meaning that you could mark a target in your scope and your teammates can see it in their scope, which kind of makes tracer rounds obsolete, subsequently making it harder to spot you in a firefight. A new gun shooting bigger bullets is great, but this new optic is going to change small infantry tactics as we know it. Buh! I'd never use a fancy scope like that. What happens when the battery dies? Buh. Well, when the battery dies, the scope actually runs off of fiber optics, so you will still have a 1 to 6x variable zoom scope, which coincidentally is 1 to 6 times better than no scope. Buh! No, it isn't. I use iron sights on everything. I'd never use a scope because a scope could fail. Buh. Wow, what a great point. I bet you walk everywhere too because your car might break down. Look, if you think optics aren't a game changer on the battlefield, I don't need to argue with you. I can just point to history. Once upon a time in 2004, the Marine Corps finally got ACOGs. Shortly thereafter, they found themselves in the Battle of Fallujah. And when the smoke cleared from that battle, they had to launch an investigation because the enemy accused the Marines of war crimes due to the sheer amount of bad guys that had been shot in the fucking head. And it was found that the Marines were absolutely not doing anything wrong. They were out there giving metallic face high fives fair and square. It was a combination of bad guys firing through windowsills and Marines having the appropriate optics to accurately fire back. And that's just with the ACOG, which is a pretty basic 4x zoom scope. So I can't imagine what's going to happen when they get their hands on something like this. In conclusion, if you think life isn't like a video game, you're probably right, but you're becoming more and more wrong by the day.
Yeah, you are becoming more and more wrong by the day. It's not long before there's guns like out of The Fifth Element with full-on tracer rounds.
Drill, baby, drill, huh? Whatever happened to lowering those gas prices, Donald? We need some answers.
So, let me guess. You live in California. So, let me show you what I'm paying for gas over here, okay? Because I think you need to talk to your governor, not Trump. But let me show you what I'm paying. $2.69. That's what I'm paying right there. $2.69. Talk to your governor, not Trump. California is a shithole anyway, so I don't know what to tell you.
Tower of Babel is one of my favorite stories from the Bible because I think there's actually some evidence for this occurring, and I think it's different than what most people think. So we always visualize and see it depicted in artwork of being this giant stone tower that goes up, and this idea that they were trying to actually physically climb it like a skyscraper to get up to heaven to reach God, which is kind of silly. It makes a lot more sense if you start thinking of this as like a Stargate or something. So we have to ask ourselves, where was the Tower of Babel? Where Babylon was actually in Iraq, what we would call Iraq today. So Iraq is what we would call in the Bible Babylon. So what would be in Babylon or Iraq today that matches? Well, this is the ziggurat of Ur. Okay, so this is an ancient Mesopotamian temple, and look at these ramps that go up, and notice how the top of this makes it obvious that this whole giant section here that you see is actually just the foundation or the base. And you can clearly see when you get an overhead view that there was some kind of a tower that went off of the top. And this is where it gets really fascinating. These giant ramps go up, and then it looks like there probably was a huge tower that extended up off of the top. And this is in actual Babylon, and it all makes sense. They estimate that that might be what it really looked like. But here's where it gets weird. Hillary Clinton, over her period from 2003, I think, up to 2013, they actually submitted a request to try and go find the resurrection chambers of Gilgamesh. And they went to none other than Iraq, and they went into the ziggurat there in Iraq. So it makes you wonder, what were they looking for? The resurrection chambers of Gilgamesh and the bodies of the buried Nephilim. So here are soldiers in Iraq going in to the ziggurat in Iraq, and you have to wonder what was really buried underneath the Tower of Babel. And is this actually what the Tower of Babel actually was? And when you look at the history of it, Saddam Hussein's forces were there for a long time, and then the US military took over in 2003, and now there's even an Air Force base outside there.
What could they possibly have needed from the tomb of Gilgamesh? That's very strange. You think it's real, or do you think it's cap? It looks cool. Looks really scary, but it looks cool.
Trump is actually pro-Israel, and he understands that Iran is going to blow it off the map, and then Israel's going to blow them off the map, and then Pakistan and India are going to have a nuclear war, and all the war games, we're all dead, you dumb son of a... What the fuck's your problem? You fucking megalomaniac kids. And that's what Trump's told Netanyahu, a little nicer than that, but not much more, I was told. I mean, we're rational, sane men.
Yep. We're rational, sane men, he says.
What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So the U.S. House of Representatives has passed a new military draft bill. Are they preparing for war? Is a big question going on a lot of people's minds with the new election coming up, with a war already going on in Ukraine, which the U.S. recently passed billions of dollars of new funding for. Vladimir Putin is obviously not very happy with this, and another major war going on in Israel and Palestine. Two major world wars going on with many different countries involved in, and now the U.S. passes in the House of Representatives a new military draft rule of law. The Senate is now considering it. I'll give you the details on this. And women may be required in this military draft in certain states. I'll give you the details of all that in this video and the newest details on this. Here we go. Let's jump right in. Thank you so much for liking these videos, and you might want to share this with a lot of people. Here we go. The military has had recruitment shortfalls for several years in a row, and only 23% of young people qualify for the military. And a lot of this is because of recruiting challenges are complex and multifaceted. And now Congress has passed this new military draft bill and rule of law in the House of Representatives. Here, take a look at the actual video of this bill passing.
On this vote, the yeas are 217, the nays are 199. The bill is passed without objection. A motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Now, the interesting part about this, and again, I don't know if you're Republican or Democrat or Independent or whatever, but this is how the vote went. You guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. 211 Republicans voted yes for this bill. 3 voted no.
Very interesting. Gonna have to keep up with that right there, because everybody's been arguing back and forth online, even with me, about how, oh, that'll never happen, that'll never happen. Well, it seems like they're trying.
Here's Halle Berry and her vagina.
Okay.
This is a custom look by Laquan Smith. She should have opted for not sheer paneling, because she's a lovely woman. Got a great set of cans on that one, but no one needs to see the mud flaps. Here's Tracy Ellis Ross, who should have stayed home. You see what I mean by all the women dressed like cartoonish pimps. They thought they were being wacky. I love Chapel Rowan's music. She looked like a Timu D. Snyder. And here's Lisa, who played Mook in White Lotus as well. All the White Lotus people, like I said, they failed. She is in Louis Vuitton. She's wearing Rosa Parks' face on her crotch. As you can imagine, with all the black artists, musicians, and designers in attendance, they were not thrilled by that. Kim Kardashian looked like if a hooker was now engaging in spy versus spy. Cynthia Erivo looked like if RuPaul's Drag Race had a Freddy Krueger night and she still lost.
That's wild, lady. You're going all out on these people.
นี่อะไรวะน่ะทำไมเป็นงั้นน่ะ
มันต้องกระจายได้แล้ว
แต่พารามอเตอร์ไม่ใช่นะสูงไปนะพารามอเตอร์สูงไปมันเหมือนตัวแบบสัตว์ประหลาดเป็นสัตว์ประหลาดเลยมันเป็น
สลาม
I don't know, it looks like a bunch of balloons to me. Like, convince me otherwise, because it really does. It just looks like a bunch of balloons. that's really cool looking. I mean, it's terrifying looking. I'd imagine that's what the sun would look like if I were to just go up into space, even though it's probably not. Definitely a bunch of AI and stuff in there.
Alright guys, I've got about a 6-foot hole dug here, and we've hit rock, but listen to this. It's loud. I mean, it's really loud.
Yeah, I don't know that I would be digging for it and trying to find it and get to it, man. It's like, could be like fracking, could be machinery, could be some kind of boring machine that's like digging a hole to stick a pipe in, could be all kinds of things, dude. Like, any of them, not good though. So, like, I don't know if I'd do what you're doing, man, but that's pretty crazy that sounds coming from underground like that.
A massive lithium deposit containing 120 million tons of the valuable metal has been discovered in the U.S. along the Nevada-Oregon border. The demand for lithium, primarily used in lithium-ion batteries for various applications, including electric vehicles and renewable energy storage, is projected to skyrocket due to the transition to sustainable technologies. By 2040, the anticipated demand for lithium is estimated to reach 1 million metric tons, a significant increase from the 2022 global production. This newfound lithium-rich zone is located within an extinct volcano known as the McDermott caldera. Researchers have determined that the caldera holds up to 120 million tons of lithium, with the highest concentrations identified in the southern part of the caldera at Thacker Pass and immediately to the north in the Montana mountains. This discovery rivals, if not surpasses, the lithium reserves found in Bolivia's salt flats, which were previously believed to be the world's largest lithium deposit. Lithium, often referred to as white gold, has been a subject of concern due to its scarcity relative to the growing demands of the electric vehicle and renewable energy industries. Initially, it was predicted that lithium supply might fall short by 2025. However, the newly found deposit could disrupt the global lithium market, potentially affecting prices, supply security, and geopolitics. If cost-effective and environmentally friendly extraction methods are developed for this lithium resource, it could reduce concerns about lithium supply shortages.
Yeah, environmentally friendly. That's the key, though. There are no environmentally friendly way to extract lithium resources.
Today I'm gonna be Did you guys see that? His head fucking disappeared like my dad when I asked him to show up to the house sober. If you think that knockout was bad, you should see what's on Greg's hard drive. Right, Greg? Fuck off, mate! Anyway, this bony little dickhead came to take my life today.
But guess what? Legends never die.
Bro, he's up! He's up! Okay, guys, so update. Grim Reaper's alive and he's pissed.
Space. But before that, let's first have a room tour. Alright.
Wow, look at all that AI. Now that Bigfoot stuff's really cool, man. He beat up the Grim Reaper and stole his scythe. That's hilarious.
Behold the power of Tartaria. This is Giuseppe, a disciplined listener of Tartarian sound waves. These sound waves realign bioelectric fields and activate dormant neural pathways. Animals don't fear him. They are drawn.
That's AI. That's all AI. Stop trying to trick people with this goofy stuff, man.
How much you want to bet that none of you have any clue what that mysterious looking unidentified object is behind me? This not so little thing is going viral because it's huge, and You can definitely tell it's not supposed to be there in the middle of the street. And it looks like some kind of dome, like concrete, maybe a septic tank or a storm shelter or a huge giant cue ball. But it's none of those things. I'm going to tell you what it is. Sometimes storms are so massive, especially in Indianapolis, that big pieces of concrete are just thrown like ping pong balls. And that's what happened to this piece of concrete that is called a ray dome. Ray dome. Still getting used to saying it, but it doesn't change the fact that that mysterious, curious little ball of joy is a ray dome. And it protects radio antenna and radar dishes. Except this one didn't do its job because it was flung like a little piece of cotton by a tornado and strong winds into the middle of the streets of America.
Well, it's not made out of concrete, first of all, but yeah, it looks like the things that go over the top of radar dishes, or not dishes, but the radar antennas to protect them from the weather.
Watch closely. Watch the sticks. I no edited, this is the original. To the right. Go back to the left. Shake around a little. That shit moved. None of the sticks did. Nobody. It's no cap. Undeniable. Here's the slow motion. Mind blowing. Or is it? What's really going on? TikTok for entertainment purposes only. Just taking a picture of the moon. At the right time. Love y'all. Comment, please.
I don't know, that was crazy looking. It looked pretty edited. I don't think the moon would just swing around like that in the sky, dude.
We now know a lot more information about the B-2 strikes in Iran last night. Let's get into it. The operation was known as Midnight Hammer, in which multiple B-2s flew west, which I'm sure you saw on the news, and those were just decoys. 7 B-2s, the ones actually involved in the operation, flew over the Atlantic with minimal communications on an 18-hour flight with multiple refuelings. Once near Iranian airspace, they were escorted by 4th and 5th gen fighters. Those fighters launched preemptive strikes on surface-to-air threats in Iran. During the B-2 operation, 24 Tomahawk missiles were fired from U.S. subs before and after the B-2s actually executed their attack. While U.S. planes were in the airspace, no shots were fired from Iran at all, and no planes from the Iranian Air Force flew either, meaning most likely they didn't detect the U.S. planes at all. The B-2s dropped 14 GBU-57s on 3 different nuclear sites. All the sites were hit in a 25-minute window, then the B-2s made their way back to the U.S. with roughly 36 hours of flight time. This is the first time GBU-57s were used in a real operation, and the U.S. claims that the strikes were effective, although Iran disputes that.
Yeah, Iran definitely disputes that. They said that they already moved everything. They didn't do anything. Right next to you, huh? That would be scary as hell.
This is all the news you're not going to see on TV today, but it's going to be simplified in 60 seconds. Kids cough syrup is now being recalled nationwide due to a microbial contamination, which is really important, so make sure you send this to anybody you know that has kids. They're saying that the product that's being recalled is Little Remedies Honey Cough Syrup, and here's all the lot numbers if you want to pause and read. Then here's the expiration dates if you want to pause and read this. This doctor is now revealing the one thing that you should never do in the bed, as he explains the best way to beat insomnia. Okay. So basically he's saying to never use any sort of technology, including cell phones, whenever you're in the bed, because it's going to make you have a hard time sleeping. Good luck with that. There is now officially a drug that's in the works right now to help dogs live longer, and it's supposed to be coming next year in 2026. They're saying that this medicine is aiming to reduce the effects of aging by targeting hormones and mimicking caloric restriction in dogs. I know everybody probably has that one friend that's obsessed with Takis, so you want to send them this, because Wendy's has now officially released their new Takis meal. I haven't tried it. I don't know if it's good. Scientists have now discovered a remarkable sphere in space and it's sending out radio signals. Basically, they're saying that this sphere is actually really far away, but they literally do not know what it is because they can only see it with a specific type of wavelength. So I guess I'll keep you updated. I give you these news roundups every day, so make sure you add me and come back to me tomorrow.
Always some kind of new sphere talking to them that they don't want to show us, but they'll definitely talk about it. It's reflections on the door that you're standing in front of, dude. Like, look at it. It's reflection.
So San Diego, Chicago, and a few other cities are protesting right now against Donald Trump sending missiles over to Iran. Many people are in an outrage because they did not want Donald Trump to send missiles over to Iran. Now, allegedly, Iranian officials state that they cleared out all the nuclear sites before the U.S. attack. And if this is true, then the U.S. went over there and bombed for nothing. Meanwhile, you have massive protests going on because people are upset about what happened yesterday. But I want y'all to take a listen to this.
We're negotiating with the Americans when we were attacked. You made this choice. You started this. The 40 to 50,000 American soldiers in the region are now legitimate targets. Every American citizen and soldier is a legitimate target. We were negotiating, we were using diplomacy, but now you've chosen for the blood of your soldiers to be spilt.
Now, Donald Trump is 100% behind the strike on Iran. While many of Americans will be protesting today, I guess we're going to have to see what Iran plans next.
They talking about, bro, we do not pay for food over here. Dead homies, I came up. I wish they say something. I wish they say something. Yeah. Where's your receipt? Where's your receipt, man? You's a bitch.
Well, I mean, at least he stood on his business, but like, come on, man. You're just walking out with an armful of bags of chips, and they're the cheap kind. Like, what?
You know, we got some breaking news coming out of Syria that a member of the so-called peaceful Islamic State has just walked into a church and detonated himself, taking the lives of 20 people with him. And I have to tell you why a story like this is so important here in the United States of America, as we have touched on secret operatives, cells here that we say are here, and what are we going to do to remove them when they get called upon. So what you're saying now is we can't even go into a church, into a place of worship and prayer, and we have no security guarding the doors for the people inside to be safe. I have to tell you, this is disgusting. This is an atrocity. I think that the leaders of the Islamic State should come out and denounce this immediately, saying that's not who we are. You know, it's one thing going after your enemies. It's another thing taking the life of women and children and fathers and babies and loved ones sitting inside a church praying to God. I'm absolutely heartbroken about this story. I absolutely think it's disgusting. But the reason why I'm so compassionate about this is because everybody in this country that is going to pray, you must demand that the people that are running either your temples, your churches, your synagogues, your mosques, you must demand that it is secure and you have an armed guard at all times.
I don't know about secure and having armed guards at all times in religious places, but, you know, that is sad.
How many of y'all follow me and remember this? That's right. Oh, Ingersoll Lockwood. You all remember when you could do this and we'd find the hidden rabbit? And it always led to something? Well, let's see what it leads to. So if you look at the right side of the picture, you initially see the chessboard with the king being knocked over, meaning checkmate. Now, are you paying attention? Just watch closely to what Melania does. She stands in front of her king, and right directly after she tries to protect her king, he shows that it's a little too much, too late. You can see the soldier walking with the flag. What just died, you all? The United States. It's over. Now, once again, you can see here in this picture from Ingersoll that the king was just checkmated, and it's over, being knocked off the board. But you have to also pay attention to the orbs. You can see the light that's coming from the sky. All right, that is the grace of God. And if you don't know who God is, well, go outside during the day and look up. I see a lot of people saying that Trump's playing chess and everyone else playing checkers. But if Trump is playing chess and he just moved his queen in front of him, then he know that his ass is in trouble. But I digress. I'm just gonna sit back, chill, and let all of this shit right here play out. War. What war? Dropped a bomb on Iran. I didn't run nowhere.
Hold on, so NASA tells us that we live on a spinning ball that's flying through space. But all we gotta do is type in nasa.gov flat earth onto Google. The first link that pops up here, nasa.gov derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model. And the first thing it says in the report, this report details the development of the linear model of a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Well, that's interesting. That's exactly how the Bible explains the earth. Chronicles 16:30, fear before him all the earth, the world also shall be stable, that it be not moved. Psalm 104 verse 5, God's marvelous creation, who laid the foundations of the earth, that it should not be removed forever. The Lord reigneth, he is clothed with majesty, the Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself, the world also is established, that it cannot be moved. Guys, God set the earth on foundation. There is no foundation on this. The Bible also tells us in Romans, let God be true, but every man a liar. The Bible also tells us that whatever you have whispered behind closed doors will be shouted from the housetops for all to hear. Guys, the truth about the earth is right on NASA's website for all to hear, shouted from the housetops. It's part of God's rules. God bless you guys. Don't forget to like and follow, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, it does say that it's built upon a foundation. Still, I can't prove that it's round. I can't prove that it's flat. Everyone wants to argue with me about whether it's one way or the other. I really don't know. I just like to look into both of them.
No, ya no se va a ver nada. Ya no se va a ver nada porque lo que se mira acá de este lado es la pantalla que está prendida. Ahí arriba, esa. De ahí en más, pues estoy solo, les digo, estoy todo solo ahorita. Solo. Y ahorita vi algo allá en la entrada de clientes. Hasta allá, hasta el último. Y lo vi clarito. Ya lo vi otra vez. A ver si se alcanza a ver. No, me da miedo ir. A eso que se mira ahí. Eso negro que se ve ahí. Miren, ya se movió. ¡Oh! Está caminando, de hecho está que no manches. No manches. A eso que se mira ahí. Eso negro que se ve ahí. Miren, ya se movió. ¡Oh! Está caminando de...
So, does that mean somebody's in the store with you working? Because that's what it seems like. It doesn't seem like a ghost. It looks like a normal person. Like, I see pretty clearly just a normal person. Dressed like they probably also work there. I don't know. You guys let me know. Well, that's all we've got for today. I appreciate everybody for coming through every time I post one of these videos up. And to everybody who's new around here, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you liked what you saw and you want to see more content like this in the future. We post videos like this about 5 days a week. And you know, to everybody who comes through every one of these videos, I appreciate your ongoing support. Go ahead and keep on doing that. Let's get this community larger. I've got a Discord that I'm setting up. I can link it down in the description. Yeah, we can go from there. I hope everybody has a great rest of your day, afternoon, evening, whatever it might be for you. And until next time, peace.